maligayang pagbabalik dito sa Good Morning Boss at live na live pa rin po nga tayo dito sa Camp Aguinaldo para i-celebrate ang 78th founding anniversary ng AFP. At yun naman syempre lahat ng nakakapanayam natin ay galing nga sa AFP, Dayan.
Yes!
Ngayon ang maganda natin ang naging tulong ng AFP lalo na sa ating mga kababayan na nasa Tacloban, especially nung right after masalanta sila. So ano ba yung mga nangyari, kumbaga ano yung kwento behind what happened sa Tacloban? So ngayong umaga kasama natin si Captain Roy Vincent Trinidad mula sa Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations mula sa Philippine Navy. Magandang umaga sa inyo, Captain.
Good morning, Captain!
Morning Dian, morning Janro.
Captain, umpisa na natin. Ano po ba yung naging experience nyo nung pag-rescue nyo po dun sa Tacloban?
Alam mo Dian, in my career, I've been through typhoons, floods, earthquakes. When we got to Tacloban, this was the worst that I have seen in terms of magnitude and devastation. The first objective there, we were on the first plane na dumating sa Tacloban Airport. The Secretary of National Defense made me in charge of the airport, and the first objective was to make it operational para makapasok yung foreign aid, yung follow-on supplies natin, and military and government forces. So basically, it was integrating the whole effort, Navy, Air Force, Army, joint, combined to include other countries, interagency, local and foreign and domestic. So that was the biggest challenge. Plus the fact that the airport was devastated. People were now flocking to the airport to get rides out of that place. They needed to be fed, given water, shelter. Others would be waiting in line for 2 or 3 days. Very challenging. What kept us going was makita mo na yung mga tao na kailangan ng tulong. So we would be up until 2, 3, we'd be awake, then wake up again at 6 in the morning. Irregular sleep, food was not regular, but it was good working for the people, serving them.
Captain, initially po, like what was your first reaction being the first plane to be able to land in the Tacloban Airport? Kamusta po yung nakita nyo? Like, ano yung itsura, kasi ngayon ang nakikita natin sa mga pictures, talagang kumbaga sira lahat, pero kumbaga kayo po yung unang-una kung ano yung nakita nyo doon.
Everybody was a victim. It's understandable when we say that nobody was working, because nobody could work. Before you work for others, you must first take care of yourself and your family. Halos lahat ng tao sa Tacloban were victims. So we were the first to arrive who were not from there. So we had the luxury of time. And wala kaming iniisip na pamilya namin, kundi tumulong sa kanila.
So, ano pong pinakaunang tulong na ginawa natin paglapag po natin sa Tacloban?
Basically, it was to make the airport operational. Pero hindi mo pwedeng hindi bigyan ng pagkain yung mga tao na pupunta doon. So we had to give them food. We arranged with DSWD na yung mga nagpupunta sa airport, hindi na kailangan pumunta sa city to claim the relief goods. Doon pa lang binibigyan na namin.
So, gaano po kayo katagal nag-stay dito sa Tacloban?
I was there for 3 weeks.
3 weeks? 3 straight weeks?
Yeah, 3 straight weeks sa airport.
So, ano pong nagsilbing inspirasyon sa inyo para mas lalong tumulong dun sa mga kababayan natin? Kasi hindi po biro ang 3 weeks na magstay dun at talagang, alam mo yun, Sandro, makita mo yung lugar tapos walang pagkain. Ano pong nagsilbing inspirasyon sa inyo?
Yung makatulong ka sa kapwa Pilipino mo, nakita mo, yung first 1 week, it was the worst. Victims, mga matatanda, mga bata. Sa airport, sa medical team namin, 7 ang nanganak doon.
Wow.
7 ang nanganak. Meron pang nanganak na twins.
Wow,
Yeah.
nakakatuwa.
May mga namatay din ng mga patients, ng mga casualties. But number one inspiration, was working for God, country, and people.
Yes.
Pero ito, Captain, matanong ko, like, syempre, nung kumbaga binibuild up nyo ulit yung airport, kasi nga importante na ito kumbaga yung entryway para ito lang yung pwedeng access ng mga lahat actually, pati mga foreign help. So, I'm sure lahat ng tao doon ang iniisip nila, pumunta tayo sa airport para makasakay tayo ng eroplano at makaalis tayo. So, paano po yung naging situation? I'm sure dagsaan po lahat ng tao dito at nagkakaroon ba ng riot or
Alam mo, Sandro, Dayan, this was kailangan mo na skill in human relations, because on the first week, on the average, 2,500 or maybe 3,000 people will be at the airport wanting to take a ride out of the place. These were the people na mga biktima. Wala yung mga physical barriers for crowd control. 3 or 4 times dinumog yung aircraft para makasakay sila. Magulo kung sa magulo. But it would test your patience. At the same time, you have to understand that these people are all victims.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to be in that place at that time. Pati kami. But it's a job to do, so we made the most out of it.
So napag-usapan po natin, Captain, yung naging experience nyo dito sa pagtulong nyo sa Tacloban. Ano pong siguro pag-usapan naman natin yung mga plano nyo sa susunod na syempre kailangan pa rin nila ng assistance at suporta sa rehabilitation and rebuilding process. Babalik pa po ba kayo ng Tacloban to check? Ano pong mga plano po ninyo?
I'll answer it this way. The objective of the military, when it comes to disaster, we are a supporting role. It's not our primary mission. We're responsible for war and defense. But since we have the training, the manpower, the equipment, then we support other government agencies. The first objective when we arrived was to capacitate the local government units and other government agencies, DSWD, OCD, DOH. We told them we are only here to support you. This is your show. So, while we started being in charge, we had a decreasing role. They started as they were bad, especially the LGUs. But we capacitate them over the days, dahan-dahan. So right now, they're doing a very good job. They're running the show right now.
Alright.
Ito, Captain, matanong ko lang, like, with them running the show, what is a usual or normal day for you when you were in Tacloban? Like, ano po yung timetable ninyo? Like, sino yung mga iba pang katulong ninyo? I understand, nung dumating yung mga foreign help natin ay mas naging malaki yung mas marami yung mga airplanes na nagagamit natin as compared to the first few days na iilan lang ang flights natin.
Yeah, alam niyo po, very big help yung Philippine Air Force, yung strategic lift capability natin mga C-130s, yung pag-surge ng ating capability, forces and man material was done by the C-130s. However, limited ito. Nung dumating ang mga foreign aircraft, ang laking tulong nito. But they would go all the way until the early hours of the morning, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Foreign aircraft did a great help. But the first help was done by the Philippine Air Force and the armed forces.
And then during that time, like sinasabi nyo nga po na kumbaga dagsaan yung mga tao sa airport para siguro ay makaalis na nga sa area na yun. So like, ilan po ang naaalis nga po? Like kunwari, let's say, meron po bang 5,000 na dumadagsa at ilan po sa kanila ang naililipad naman natin?
Bawat C-130 would get 120 to 150. But our Philippine Air Force pilots would load up to 175 to 200 just to get. But they were limited to like 5 flights per day. When the US aircraft came in, we would be having like 25 to 30 flights, 24 hours. So this decongested the airport. Pero ang mga tao at any one time, you would have like 3,000 people. May umaalis, may dumarating pa rin.
Alright, siguro talagang nakakatuwang malaman ang ginawa talaga ng Armed Forces of the Philippines and sana po magsilbi kayo inspirasyon sa lahat dahil nakita naman natin yung dedikasyon na kanilang ibinigay, makatulong lang at makapagbigay serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan. And at this point, Captain, do you have any last message to our viewers?
Yun lang po, maraming salamat sa pagkakataon kami po makapagsilbi sa taong bayan natin para po sa Diyos at sa bayan.
Alright, thank you so much. That was Captain Roy Vincent Trinidad. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Captain.